Okay, so underneath this create menu here, let's go ahead and hide that there. We've talked a lot about this create menu already with our multiple alpha brushes and our vector displacement brushes and all that. There's a few more options in here I want to go over. I want to make sure I hit. So what I'm going to do is select this PolyMesh 3D, drag it out on my canvas, go into edit mode. We'll go ahead and select the matte cap gray so we can see it a little bit better. And let's just work our way down this menu. So create insert mesh. We already know how to do that from previous versions of ZBrush. If you hit B, you're going to see we have Create Insert Mesh and Create Insert Multi-Mesh. Create Insert Multi-Mesh is grayed out in both areas because technically this tool only has one subtool. You need multiple subtools to create an Insert Multi-Mesh. But for now, what we can do is we can hit Create Insert Mesh. We can hit New. And now we have a new insert brush. One thing you might want to change about this is the name. And you also want to make sure the orientation is correct. So what you're going to do is hold down Shift and snap your camera view forward so that when you drag it out, you're dragging out a forward-facing star. Now it's inheriting the surface normal, so when I drag it on this bent plane, it's going to inherit, the direction of that face. So it is dragging out forward, but based on the surface normal. If you want more information on this, go to my YouTube channel and watch the Intro to ZBrush series. Now, what we might want to do is not have this as PolyMesh 3D. So what I'm going to do is go to Rename, and we'll call this Star. And now what we can do is, again, just hit this Insert Mesh brush, and this time we'll hit Append, and that'll throw it in here. It's going to say you can hit the M key. We'll go ahead and skip that note. And then now we have Star and PolyMesh 1. This one we don't need anymore, so I'm just going to hit Delete. And now this will be nice and cleaned out. And we can insert mesh stars all over the place. Now, I have a brush that's already set up. I'm going to go to Load Tool here. I'm going to load up Insert Multi-Mesh Base Primitives. And what this is, if I hit B, and I select my base primitives here. This is a custom brush that I always bring into ZBrush and I assign a hotkey to. So you're going to see I can scroll through the different objects here, or I can hit M, and you can go through and choose the different insert mesh brushes here. So if you want to create an insert multi-mesh, there's a few things you need to do. First, you want to make sure your stuff is all named correctly. Now, there is one problem. When I save this tool out, it renamed my top subtool as something else, as the name of the tool actually. So if I go to rename here, I'm going to rename this back to Sphere 32, because if I go into solo mode, you're going to see this is a sphere with 32 spans on it. And the second thing you want to do is make sure that the camera is oriented so that you're looking at all the objects as you want them drawn out on your mesh later on. So if I go into transparency mode and hit this open cube, you're going to see it's facing me. If I go and grab this ring, it's facing me, so everything's looking good. They're kind of all over the place as far as scale. So if you want to make these all a little bit more uniform, you can select one of your objects here and then go to Deformation, hit Unify for one of the subtools, and then just hit Repeat to Other. And what that's going to do is make them all centered on the world 000 and also make them the same bounding box size, which is the same bounding box size as the ZBrush primitive. So once this is all set up, all you have to do now is go over here to the Brush Create menu, and you can do Create Insert Multi-Mesh. That'll create a brand new brush. If I hit B, you're going to see there's a new Insert Multi-Mesh brush here. You can save this out, brush save as whatever you want, and now you have all of these to choose from. We're going to skip Create Nanomesh Brush right now, and we're going to go straight to Create Multi-Alpha Brush, just so I can compare and contrast these two. So we created a multi-mesh insert brush here. So now if I go out of transparency mode, let's go to our modifiers, this multi-mesh selector. I'm going to select one, and that's going to cycle forward through all of these. So as I start dragging these out, you're going to see it's dragging out actual meshes onto the face of this object, and it's kind of cycling through the different meshes here.